Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hey! Oh. That was actually really good.
That was really good. We should start a band. Because we got really good timing.
You can call your band
We all just
of horses, not band of horses, just of horses.
Alligator hands. Okay.
Okay, give me 10 seconds of
Radio sound.
black, bars and tone, and then we'll start. Okay?
I was gonna do something, but then I realized it was
apart?
recording. No.
No, we're recording the whole time.
When you said give me 10 seconds of black, I was gonna be like, "What? Go on, mama."
I like that.
Anyway,
Anyways, this is our
delete
intro.
that. Delete that.
This is our intro. Welcome, everyone. I wish that was. I kind of want to keep
You want to start with the Wagwan?
I do.
like
I want to
that.
put Schoolie right in the spotlight.
I'm out. I quit.
I censor this guy for being cool. For
No, that'll be on the Patreon episode.
Yeah.
Are we doing the 10 seconds? Or?
I don't know. I just want just like a little.
1,
bit
2,
of
3, Ghost Town. Remember that?
No,
You remember 1, 2, 3, Ghost Town?
I just remember Ghost Town, Halloween Town.
1, 2, 3, Ghost Town.
No, it's like when you're playing a game that everyone has to shut up, and then you say 1, 2, 3, Ghost Town, and then now everyone has to stop talking, and the first person to talk
Was that
is
like what the parents would
piece
do
of
in the
shit.
van?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, but also like
1, 2, 3, Ghost Town.
it's kind of the antithesis to the penis game in
Right.
class.
I never
Right.
played that
You
game.
never played penis.
You played penis.
You want to play penis, bro? Penis.
Yeah, you would test the levels.
Penis.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Ooh, beat it.
Your penis increases
It's
until,
louder and louder until someone gets caught.
until someone
You got
gets
it.
killed.
I gotta stop burping.
That was only for us cool kids in the Pen 15 club, I guess.
Whoa, we don't talk about Pen 15 Club here, man.
But my parents used to drive by
JFK was
graveyards
killed
on
by the
purpose.
Pen 15 Club.
Yo.
What? What?
You might be
Breaking
right.
news.
My in order to shut us up, they would take every graveyard that we lived near and drive by it because I don't know
Yes,
if you guys
that's
had
right.
that where you
Yes.
hold your breath
Yes.
when you go
So
by a
you're a
graveyard.
scuba diver now, but you're like,
Yeah, but they did do that game where they're like they just didn't even hide it. They were like, let's play the quiet game. That's the and they would just be like, just shut up for once. And
When you're
it
a
would
kid.
last a good 2 minutes, but yeah. So we all grew up like that. We were all demons.
Yeah.
Are we going quiet?
Well, fellas, we're back with another bar minimum podcast.
Another bar burner.
Yeah.
I don't have a bar theme joke.
It's been a few months since our last stake in the ground
It's been a few months
But-
since we last even saw each other, since we got to hang out.
because life happens, and we thought we would just start this and everything would be a-okay. But
I miss you guys.
Yes.
This is nice.
This is just the gravy. We're just hanging out because now we can see each other.
I'm fine.
Imagine this guy has a full on muscle cramp that he tries to work through. Like that one time that I called into work because my back exploded
That's
at the gym because I put on a shirt. I tried to put on a shirt. That's why it happened.
Really?
Yep.
I thought you were climbing the stairs. Oh, that was.
I was
after.
walking this. Well, yeah, I felt it when I put on the shirt and then walked up the stairs and then my back like folded, inverted on itself.
Yeah, and then you
That's-
called me from the pavement.
Yeah, I was laying horizontal on the pavement, calling Schoolie saying I can't come in.
Yeah, you think you're gonna work together forever, and then
Yeah, we were blaming you.
Then they
on
don't-
The way,
then they
on the
don't
way
pay you
in,
enough.
on the way. We blamed you on the way in, and
I figured I was like, let's ditch Andrew chat.
when in doubt, blame you. That was our plan.
Yeah, because it happens anywhere I go. Like even at the new place, you're like blaming me. So a little voice crack. There we go.
So I was thinking, this is a good way for us to kind of continue that bond. But I think we were talking a while ago that it's kind of tricky to keep this kind of thing going. You know, things change within like a month, right?
I know.
And I remember we used a story. I think I told you this, but you kind of liked it, or maybe it was you. But we were talking that we were like ships. In
that
the
wasn't
night.
me.
Ships in the night, and it was like basically.
No, you started it. No, you told me it because I was threatening your life of never leaving me.
Wait,
Our
what?
gaming nights.
But yeah, the whole gist of it is basically like we're
Turn
all
your mic.
boats. We're all boats, and we're all kind of like, if you don't throw a rope to each other, eventually you just slowly drift over the horizon. And it's not like intentional. It's just eventually, if there's no effort.
No, yeah, you need to be very deliberate about both planning and following through, and this is, I guess, something that sort of resembles obligation. So if we feel at least obligated, not in a bad way, but then at least we still reach out. We still what kind of boat am I, do you think?
Yeah. Turn your mic towards
what's
your face a little bit.
cruise craft or what are those things called? You know, like the cigarette boats. Those are rad.
Whoa.
You know the ones I'm talking about? They're like wood.
You're not a
He's not
cigarette
actually
boat.
like that. I just like those boats.
No, you're like I wanted to say the old timey casino boats.
Oh, the riverboat.
But I feel like
those
there's
are rad.
like a lot of underlying themes that I don't think you support. That
an antebellum riverboat.
with Mickey like whistling in the front. We can say that now because he's
That's
he's
true.
free,
We
there's no
could
copyright.
cut to Steamboat Willie right
we
now.
can. We can. 2024, we can do it pretty much anything, right?
One thing I did like about being older in that it's our job to care is I was wondering if you guys had any ideas about how now that we are older, it's our conscious choice to meet up like this versus when we were kids. And I don't know if it was just me, but I have bonds with people that I knew, but that was just bonds that we had because of geography and we were forced to be in the same spot for a while. And then if you keep knowing them now, it's obviously you're trying to do it. But I don't know if you know, like how you feel about keeping those bonds now that we have to do it rather than it was just kind of convenience. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, we got pretty lucky, us being locked in a square room, and then, imagine if we all hated each other. That would suck. But we were very fortunate.
Combo, yeah. I think everyone in there.
Like
I think they got rid of all the bad
was
eggs by the time we came around anyway.
And it was around 2.5 years, I think. Like, I think back at it just because some other people got shuffled around too. Like, that was magic. That was our supervisor who was in the room at the time. Like, I just felt like that was, and then that person left, and then we went, and like everything. Mm-hmm. We were all together for that time, and I think that's nothing we're gonna ever have again.
No,
in that capacity.
We were lucky, and like you said, it was convenient then because we were all there anyway because we had to be there so we could get paid and survive. Whereas before, I mean, like you're mostly making friends with either kids of your parents' friends or your school friends. So like, basic geography and just by nature of they're in your class, you see them every day kind of thing. But I remember when I was a kid, I had like 8 phone numbers memorized.
Really?
To like call
Before,
up friends and be like, hey, let's do something.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Like it's always gonna.
They're all gone. When was the last time you talked to any childhood friends?
Oh, I still have a lot of childhood friends.
So do you. I know some of them now, kind of.
Oh, actually, childhood is like I'm talking about like grade school.
Oh yeah, I got
high school. You now work with a friend, now a colleague of yours, which is interesting now. Like
I don't really
through
see
everyone.
them.
I know, but
but
it's a small world.
There, back then you could call up a friend and do something on the weekend.
And you still can.
Now you still can, but now your weekends are filled with
oh my god,
cleaning your house or
and all those kids we have with all our wives.
I don't do either of those two things. My house is dusty. I tell you what,
that happens. Today I was gonna try to catch up today, but
instead we're catching.
We're mustard and relish and ketchup.
You know what? Maybe just 3 friends sitting here talking around. If
at a bar,
somebody listening, if they don't want to call their friend, they can just listen to us, and
like
it's as if they're actually talking to people, making meaningful connections instead of just sitting in your dusty house.
Yeah, it's true. But we're creatures of habit, right? So you get into these rhythms, and life hits you anyway, and time moves faster every week. It seems like
it does. It does speeds up.
That I'm really afraid of that nostalgia vibe that you hear old people all the time. They like their brains. They're going back to stuff in their past, and I'm learning about my parents now, like shit that they did that they wouldn't tell me because it would change my opinion of them when I was a kid.
Right.
Undermine
their authority.
I never got that.
Yeah, like I'm learning about their honeymoon, and I'm like, Dad, Dad, I was made that night.
All those positions.
Yeah. No, they didn't go that deep. They never had sex. Yeah.
I'm not gonna go there. No, I hear you, and I don't know though. Not just because I worked last night and didn't get that much sleep, but I'm just more tired now than ever.
Yeah, you're excited. Oh my God, tell me about it.
So, I just want to, when I actually finally have some free time, most of the time, I just want to sit on the
Relax.
couch
I know.
with my wife, both of us looking at our phones.
And I ruined that this weekend. But
No, she's busy actually.
no, like now that I'm working more of a physical labor job,
Yeah.
I come home and I probably have maybe like 2 hours and then I'm done.
Yeah.
It's
You probably sleep great though.
yeah, like I used to be able to, like, maybe if I was doing this like 4 or 5 years ago, I would probably be able to stay
Yeah.
up between like 1-2 o'clock. Now it's like 10 if I'm lucky. Like, it's nuts. It is so crazy. Like, being reintegrated into physical activity. Like, after that 2 years, you should have seen how like destroyed I was after the first 2.5 weeks. Oh my god, my feet are still peeling. That's a nice descriptive, but it's like my feet were
You
broken.
show me later. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you later. You can subscribe. But yeah, it was quite the shock. But
Well, I mean, with this, with us getting together, it didn't feel like that big of a, it wasn't a pain in my butt to do it.
No.
And I think that's partially just because we all like each other, obviously. Because a lot of people I grew up with were like, we should get together. Nah. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
I
when
have
you
people
say
that are
it's
my
so vague,
cousins,
right? Like,
but I'm like, I don't really,
Yeah, when you agree or when you propose something like that, there's no immediate objection. So it's like, yeah, I would see that person, but it really takes
the follow through is kind of part of that love language thing, right?
yeah, it takes a commitment.
And
have to
I saw
commit
his
every
penis,
day.
so he's got that on you guys. I've
saw
seen his
whose
penis
what?
in a cup. Yeah,
You've seen his penis in a cup?
that was my first other penis that I
What
saw.
kind of
was that
cup?
guy.
who's?
Blue plastic translucent cup.
If his penis was a boat, what kind of boat would it be?
Cigar.
Pretty wide, yeah. Pontoon.
Oh, okay.
Ew.
Houseboat.
Oh yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't refracted in the
Yeah,
glass
he
from
could
the
have been
cup?
strategic with what cup he used, but I don't know. It was one of those we were discovering our bodies at that time. But yeah, I mean, I love that guy, but I see you guys and think of you way more, even though I just
As
knew
you
the guy.
should.
So
I'll know if you don't think.
I think of you often. There are some friends I know. I've had to go both ways, so I'm curious if you guys have had this where it's like you can pick it up right away, like
Yes.
you don't see
Totally.
a guy for like 2 years.
Yes.
Pick it up, nothing changed. And I've had others where like, have you ever had one where you tried to rekindle because you're feeling nostalgic one weekend? You're like, what is that dude?
Yeah.
And then you reach out and it just blows up in your face or just doesn't work out.
Yeah,
Sure.
have had that.
Yeah.
Far and few between though, but
Yeah, like I have a lot of friends still from grade school that are a pretty core part of my life, and
I have the most
we
friends.
we I had more people at my last birthday party than you did. And yeah, like I see them less and less because again, we all have
Yeah,
commitments. We all have our time allocated into different things, but we still talk pretty regularly. And when we see each other, yeah, it's
I couldn't even imagine like what I'm doing now and then having like a family and kids. Like
Right.
that would be so nuts. I don't like I'd have to sacrifice, whatever I'm doing extra, but like for that. But like crazy to think.
It is
like,
sacrifice, yeah.
Well, obviously if you don't have certain things in your life, you fill that with other things, right? So right now it's just kind of like, oh my god, I got enough on my plate.
yeah.
I'm trying
It's a good feeling though.
trying to be a car guy with my dad.
Oh yeah.
Trying to
yeah.
live
well,
up to
that's
that mountain.
bondage too though. That you're
It
bondaging
is.
with him.
We're bondoed in bondage. Bondo
Oh,
is-
yes,
yeah, Bondo.
yes, I know
a good
that.
Bondo
I
joke
watched that
right
YouTube.
there.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, I know what Bondo is.
But yeah, it's it was the big cataclysm from our friendship journey that happened and spread us through the galaxy. So I wish we could rip on a certain entity that we all, but
Two of us still technically work for it, so
yeah.
Oh.
I'm scot free.
that's right.
I'm Ridley scot free. So
I do have a question for both of you because I don't want it's kind of like a love language thing. I think one of you has mentioned about the other that they're good at kind of expressing that affection and like keeping the bond going. I don't know, how do you guys go about doing that?
between us,
Yeah, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm really shit at like I'll think about you guys, I won't tell you ever.
so the first like 2 or 3 weeks of the new position, I was like having conversations with you guys in my head. I'd be like I don't even check my phone anymore, my personal phone throughout the day because they gave me an iPhone. I've never been an iPhone user,
Right.
but I'm just constantly getting like pings and tings on it. So I was just like, I wish I could stop and like when I tell you guys about snakes and rabbits and stuff, like that's my I'm like these guys would love to see that. Like you'd love to see the snake I tried to rescue the other day, but it didn't.
Didn't work out.
Yeah,
They
no,
didn't-
He
they didn't
tried.
make
He
it?
said tried.
Yeah, well,
That was
I
scary.
mean, I helped it across the road because it was like just slither in there, a little small guy, and then later he got hit by a car because he didn't learn. So a lot of roadkill, a lot of circles of life that you're not used to in that.
Pour one out right on the remote.
Yeah, right all over. Yeah, a lot of circle of lives. Like I've had to do a lot of murdering of insects, and that is life. That's precious life that I hate doing.
Insects are not real. Insects
they're-
are.
Oh, that's right. They are soulless.
Yeah.
Insects
Well, no,
do not
they're-
feel or have no souls.
They're actually they're a little electronic.
Oh, by
We'll save this for the
CIA?
conspiracy pod. Yeah.
Okay.
But Brian, I think part of the reason why you say you're not as good at reaching out or whatever is because you are less.
I'm selfish.
Are you
You're-
afraid to see what could happen to us with a space apart? Are you afraid to
No,
acknowledge
I'm
it?
full of fears, but what are you?
Yeah, I was gonna say you're less like genetically attached
My brain don't
to
work?
your
Oh.
phone.
Oh,
yeah, you're less
My
developed.
brain don't work.
enhanced?
No, I would say your phone is a less present part of your life than probably me and maybe you. So
No, I text him. He doesn't answer.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
The
but
way-
He's
the-
horrible at answering.
That's what I mean.
Everyone knows.
the
That's
reality of our communication now is that the way that we can keep in touch is through the phone, and for better or for worse or whatever. So
Video games.
yeah, you guys have the online thing, so that's
Halo
that's
once in a while.
another
It's been a while, Brian. It's been a while.
connection.
It'd
But,
take me a while to walk here, that's for sure. Yeah. Could be done.
so I think I think honestly it just takes that little
No, we just gotta try.
conscious effort of reaching through
got
the thumbprints.
I missed my niece's birthday like 2 weeks ago. So
I was wondering
it's
why
not
you weren't there.
specifically
No,
you guys.
No, you're not. No, that's the thing I can say.
We were all
You
talking about you, Brian. We were all there thinking,
Oh, really?
when is Brian going to get here?
What's her name?
Who's talking?
Trick question. She doesn't have one.
Yeah.
She's not real.
She's not real. It's just not against you guys. That's just how my brain be, I think. But yeah, it is kind of, you have to be selfless and want to, you're basically putting someone else in front of your needs. Like you're kind of,
Yeah, because my needs are always going to be stay at home and do absolutely nothing and
Yeah.
try to
Oh, yeah.
distract myself from thoughts of impending doom.
oh boy.
Mm,
No,
well,
you're right. Yeah.
We got some subs parking their way where they shouldn't be parked. And we're not talking about the subway.
You're not talking about submarines? What kind of would I be a submarine, you think?
Yeah, what kind of submarine would you be? Would
Brian
you
might be a submarine,
vessel.
actually. He just surfaces when it suits him best.
Yeah. That's actually, oh wow.
the Red October because you're a
Yes.
beard.
Mm.
Because you kind of. Are you blonde? What are you?
I don't know.
What are you? Natural blonde?
When I was a wee lass, it was
Blonde?
like blonde as a kid, and then it gets as
Little
as,
strawberry curls he had.
Every
Yeah.
time I'd commit a sin or atrocity, it gets darker.
Who would be Ohio class?
Oof.
I think Ohio class is pretty high up there. I think.
Those are battleships, right?
And then there's like Los Angeles or like Escape from Los Angeles too. Class.
I would be the thing that Kevin Costner's riding in Waterworld.
It's like a giant like shipping frigate,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, pretty
Isn't it
much.
just like a net? I
Well,
haven't seen that.
there's
in
a
while.
few things. I mean, they fly at one point. Anyway,
I've
There was a
actually
rusty
never
frigate,
seen.
yeah.
I've never seen Waterworld
It's
fully. I've
been
seen
a-
clips. I've
it's been
seen.
well over a decade. For me.
Maybe I need to take the plunge and watch.
Wow, I don't think you're really missing much.
Well, I think it's like a part of pop culture to a certain that because like the whole filming sucked. It's like notorious that the whole production was like cursed.
Yeah, and so over
And,
budget.
Yeah. Speaking of films and pop culture needs, sure, I'll tell you about my Comic-Con experience.
Oh wow, please do. Actually,
What
I'm
a
very
great
interested.
segue. I did Comic-Con last weekend.
And when you say did Comic-Con,
Yeah, a local Comic-Con.
you did content creation. That's what the kids call it.
With a local TV station that I,
That the kids have never heard of.
that just
You were looking at a butt in that photo. Was that what you were doing?
what butt?
That photo you sent us.
I don't know. Butt.
There was a butt right behind your head.
Oh,
Was
there's
there?
a lot of butts. I
I thought that's what you were doing.
it was a picture of me on,
Yeah,
the, on
he's-
the
yeah.
camera in the return feed.
Yeah, there's an
yeah.
old dude right behind
Oh,
you bending
maybe.
over.
Oh, I didn't know.
I immediately locked in on
Comic
that.
Con's interesting. This would be my 10th or 11th year doing it. They're replaying it, so you might be able to see it back at HQ there on the station. So it's an experience, that's for sure. I flirted with, Beverly D'Angelo, the wife of Chevy Chase in Family Vacation.
Okay.
We interviewed her, and she
still got the charm.
Well, she was flirting with me on the interview.
Really?
Yeah. Every time my co-host, like I am the sex appeal on the show. He's the brains. I am the sex appeal. Right. He was on her left. It was behind her booth, so we didn't like get her to get up or anything. But it was Beverly, and then my co-host, and then myself. I had the arm lean on going on too, and he would ask her a question, and she would turn and then look back at me and answer the question. And we were looking into each other's eyes, and Beverly's eyes were searching through mine.
Interlocking fingers.
We were talking about her voice. She voices that country girl. You would have, once you see the character, you would be okay, like a country singer on American Dad.
Really?
Yeah. She's
wow.
the country. She's like the blonde bob, and she got the acoustic. And we were talking about
Dolly
her.
farting.
Yeah,
it's got to be a
close.
Dolly-esque person, yeah.
And she's actually from Canada, so that was nice when she informed the people interviewing her that she was from Canada. And I was telling my co-host, I'm like, our previous interviews went so well that we're gonna choke during these celebrity ones. And I said, eventually we're gonna get to the point where we're gonna lock eyes, because we usually do like a mental thing during, like, who's gonna go, like you ask one, I ask one, back and forth, and then we'll kind of see who's gonna go again. And it got to a point where she's talking about how much she loves Canada, and I look up at him, he looks up at me, and we kind of just freeze, and there's like 2 seconds of like dead air, but like it feels like it's like 15, like on the replay you don't really notice it, but yeah, as I was leaving, she put her hand on my arm, caressed it as I pulled back. That's the second mature actress that has.
I feel like it happens every year for you.
The one that's notorious is Elliot's mom from E.T. The mom from E.T. She's also in Lords of Salem. Yeah.
I mean, no offense to this lady. This is a joke. She probably looks like E.T. at this point.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that was an old movie.
No, they're both cougars for sure.
I believe it.
So that's what I do, and then there's just so many different. I don't know.
I've never been to a Comic-Con. I mean, I think I can make
there is
assumptions about
interesting people who go there.
Yeah,
it's
patronage of
easy access for a lot of people with accessibility issues. Let's say that.
Okay.
In life,
of all types. Yeah.
Oh, you mean
it's an easy place for someone to just walk around.
Some social interaction.
Yeah, for maybe people who have issues with social interaction.
Right.
And
how
actually,
many? Sorry.
No. I was gonna say that it didn't smell that bad.
That's the only thing I was thinking about. I was like, does it smell? That's all.
Like we were in a corner, right? We have a light and we have our own booth and we go live. And
how many life-size pillow booths were there?
Across from our booth was the VR girl chat booth.
Oh,
so they had backpacks with tails, and they had like leggings, and they had cat ears, and
okay.
It was interesting. But right beside that was the elk meat and dried sausage booth. That had a two-way facing wall. So like the elk meat, like dried pepperette booth had like cat girls on it.
Right.
So guys were coming up going, "Hey, you got any cat?"
But the cat girls all had Black Rifle coffee shirts on.
Something like that. Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of swords, a lot of. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot, especially in this region.
I just finished making fun of them, but I mean, I don't.
I just finished making fun
and I'm sure we'll continue to.
Yeah, we will. We're not. It's not over.
But like, also at the same time, I can't. I have no distaste for people that are different than me in that way. They're trying their best in a tough social climate, and by social climate I mean just socializing in general, meeting people, being out in public, having a place to go where you can meet people and interact with people. Like, it's not easy. There's not enough of those. Yeah. And sure, this one has been kind of commodified because I'm sure you have to pay to get there, right? Like, you're kind of paying for interactions, but
I parked far enough that I didn't have to
hey,
pay for parking.
there's no
entry fee?
There's no entry, or
Well, there is. It's just
that's
like,
what I mean, but not for
parking
you
lot-
because
But for me, I couldn't
you're
even get
special,
on a Saturday, and it rained so hard on the Friday too. It was crazy. But yeah, it's oversubscribed almost. Like it's people seem to go from the states, and
yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of nerds, you know, and
There are a
I
lot.
have
a lot of crossovers I don't understand either, man. I don't.
right, and like that, I'm not into like video games. I'm not into anime or some of these things
Whoa,
that
we're losing all our subscribers.
that are
Thumbs down.
Yeah.
the only One Piece I can get into
Wow.
is a bathing suit that barely fits me anymore.
Oh, one of those. Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
from like the 1920s.
My
with the
Japanese
stripes
stepmother.
and-
Yeah. Okay.
But no, what was I saying? I still have, you know, a lot of people would probably consider me a nerd for
Well, you're a
some of
different
the
type of
things
certain
I'm into.
things, maybe.
Exactly, sure.
Yeah.
There's different types of nerds, and
You're a literature nerd.
sure,
And
or
a Reddit nerd.
yeah, strike that from the record. But yeah, no, exactly. So like, I can't judge people, and even though like, there are bad nerds and there are good nerds. You know, there's gatekeeping and there's misogyny.
people, but
bad
these ones
nerds.
suck.
Well, no,
I like
hey,
that.
I'm just saying there are. I'm not judging broadly. I'm saying
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are people who are, you know, assholes and who are misogynist and you know all these things. But
That's me.
I don't think it goes for the. I don't
He
think
looked at me. It was weird.
We winked.
He was like, "Oh, assholes, huh?" He looks right at me. But yeah,
Masseuses, huh?
I don't think that goes for most of the nerds. I'm sure a lot of them are perfectly.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of weird crossovers that like, you're like 4 characters in one, but like it's a mess. It's like you obviously have like a very specific thing you're going for. I saw a Helldiver costume.
There you go.
I wanted to give him the salute, but he was beside a Wolverine guy, and I didn't want to be like, can I get a costume with a guy who doesn't dress up like the same thing every year? Like, how many Wolverine costumes do you see?
An excuse not to shave his sideburns.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, it was. We interviewed the real life Peter Griffin.
Oh, I think I know
That guy. Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
Well, I've seen a guy with small glasses and
Yes.
he's got the build.
Yeah,
and he's on the
he's
YouTube.
got the white shirt on and the green pants. Yeah, he was there with Lois Griffin, and they were walking around. And I heard them, and I walked up to their booth, and I invited them onto our live show. And they showed up the next day, and we interviewed.
Were they a couple, or is
I
it
think
just
they
like
are.
They've
I
actually
think they
never
are.
met. They just happened to show up.
They're a couple, and I went to go research Lois Griffin, the actress, her model, and there was no way we were gonna like ask her to share that on a family show. She was finding out ways to earn money a different way through
yes, enterprising?
through modeling.
I've been
There's
there.
definitely a lot of that, I think, with the cosplaying and
Of course,
the,
it's like a Renaissance fair.
Sure.
They're not actually there to eat turkey legs
Yeah.
and dress up in leather bound
I've heard about
things.
that. You've been to those though.
No, I haven't. I've actually
really?
no. I've just been. It's medieval times. That's as close as I get. That's
Oh,
not-
I'm sorry. I do kind of conflate the two.
But I heard about Ren fairs. Apparently, people are horny.
Drugs.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
Like Ren fairs, though.
yeah.
People are just
Really?
horny no matter where you go. But,
But
when you get
that,
a
but like it's getting its own like, it's being known for that now. You go
Yeah.
there to like cosplay and
Sure.
then spread syphilis like the Dark Ages.
Yeah, condoms didn't exist back
Well,
then.
I mean,
they all
the-
die. And everyone dies a horrible death.
People-
Gonorrhea, like scurvy.
people
Sorry.
need community, man. People need human interaction,
Yeah, yeah.
and
LARPing is the only way.
that's the only the only non-problematic way to meet people is LARPing.
Yeah.
So this guy that I just met recently, right? I was so proud of him because he actually, there was a very nice, very good-looking lady that came up just to say hi, and right away she was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, he was watching a video on a video of a video game,
Okay.
and he actually explained what an RPG is. I don't know if you're aware of what that is.
Role-playing game.
That's
There you
correct.
go.
He explained it to her without a shred of like any kind of shame, and I was so kind of shocked by that, just because as out of touch
Like he
as
didn't
I am,
mansplain it, but it was more of a.
he was just so open about he was sharing that.
Yeah.
He wasn't
To a
holding
lady
anything
who
back.
was
He wasn't
openly
insecure.
said like she's like, I haven't played games ever since Smash Brothers back in the day.
And then she was like, "What is this game?"
She didn't know what an RPG was, but the fact that he was just like, this
rocket
is what it
propelled
is.
grenade.
Yeah, exactly. I, but it's tough because how do you share? So this is something I'm curious about you guys. I've always liked that some people are so willing to share their passions like that without any kind of like. I've just been shot down so many times. If there's something, especially if it's very niche,
Right.
you're almost like I'm battling between keeping it to myself. Like if there's especially with media or something like that.
Yep.
How do you deal with like something that you love so much that you almost every time you try to share it with somebody and they just their eyes become like
little piece of
glazed
you
donuts.
breaks off. And
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
put on a giant fox costume. I don't get it. We all made up in the same
Yeah,
expo
'cause
area.
you
We're all
can-
dressed up
yeah.
as animals. I don't see the big deal in it. What?
You can knock down any interest, especially if it's something that's kind of like probably not the most productive things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just like, you know.
Well, I think for that example, I think it's kind of, I don't know, maybe not for that example, maybe for others I'm thinking of, but like it's sort of the Big Bang Theoryification of nerd culture, you know, where like it's so mainstream now that like it's people aren't maybe.
You talking about lifespans of things, like lifespan.
No, I'm talking about like acceptance and like people aren't maybe shamed the same way they would be before, or
I
same
think
with
that's fair.
like the
Yeah.
Marvel movies and stuff. You know, they're such cultural behemoths that, yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe people feel safer in that fandom or whatever. Or
Speaking of the Acolyte, Brian, did you want to discuss about the forces being female and woke? I'm kidding.
I did.
no,
what
I'm
lightsaber
kidding.
color is woke? I want that one.
It's all the colors. It's just
Rainbow
It's a rainbow lightsaber.
Let's
Are
you
go.
for real?
That'd
I
be
haven't
so
actually
tight.
seen it
no,
yet.
no.
I'll believe
I'm
anything you
never
say
gonna
right
see
now.
it. I'm
See that-
never. We're not going into this today.
That's the other thing
Never,
too.
ever,
That's another nerd subculture or subset, I should say, is like the
Dumb script writing?
What's that?
dumb script writing.
Well, exactly. Well, there's Star Wars fans, and then there's people who are fans of hating Star Wars. You know, even though
Well, they got plenty to chew
It's a
on.
fine
lately,
line,
Let me
right?
tell you.
I'm
what.
looking at one of each right now.
I don't even like Star Wars that like I liked it as a kid, and I continue to like it. Fine. I
sure.
haven't.
You and I are
I don't
openly.
even know-
We are openly Phantom Menace enjoyers.
Oh hell, of course,
Yeah.
hell yeah. I haven't seen a Star Wars movie in a while, but
don't bother.
But yeah, no, like it's fine. And then there's people who kind of base their,
Well, hating
their-
for the wrong reason. I think you can be passionate and like complain about certain aspects of a type of media, right? But then I think what you're saying is like there's people who just like love hating because of
woke.
well, I guess certain person in certain position. You know,
Yeah.
We're just gonna hate,
No, exactly.
right? But that's why Fallout broke all the boundaries and did everything right.
Yay!
Fallout.
Right, but so like, yeah, some people want to be able to criticize Star Wars, but they won't do it because they don't want to be seen as someone like the lunatics who,
Even though
who
you
are.
get slotted, like
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
an opinion and we don't agree with your opinion, so
You'd be like, I just think the show was bad because it wasn't good.
well,
As
I
a-
think that's what's coming around now, and unfortunately, I think your point's very valid. Like a lot of people who have like issues with the actual structure of a show that makes a show, regardless of who's playing what or who made this,
Yeah.
who's responsible, or what kind of themes they're going to portray. I think the core like skeleton of a show or a movie. Anytime someone says like, "Well," regardless whoever you have playing this character, the lines are terrible. Like,
Sure.
you're allowed to have a bad production,
Right.
With,
It's
more positive themes, or like
yeah, it's the loudest. The people who ruin media criticism are the people who only see things through. And I guess this is sort of I'm going to do a both sides, even though I don't really mean it, but like because it does exist on both sides of the identity sort of spectrum, I guess. Yeah, the people who ruin media criticism are the ones who are only capable of seeing any criticism through that kind of identitarian lens and of race and whatever cultural flashpoint
Yeah.
that we're going through. And I'm trying to be careful saying that because I don't actually think it's that much of a both sides are wrong issue. But like, yeah, I'm sure those shows suck. I'm sure those shows suck. And I'm never gonna watch them, so I'm never gonna test that because I don't care about Star Wars like that. But
you're more of a Trekkie guy. I get it.
Yeah. I'm sure they suck, but probably not for the reasons that like the weird online worm people.
And that's like
I'm calling them worm people because they don't like
the shy haludes.
I don't get that, but
that's a Dune one.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Yeah, no, the people who would not approve of my rainbow lightsaber, which now I think would actually be fucking cool. So, I mean, and then there's probably a well-meaning but also weird nerd who would be in the comments being like, actually, because of the crystals used in a lightsaber technology, it's not possible to make a rainbow lightsaber.
Let me tell you, kyber crystals are only found from designated.
Is it actually
origins.
crystals?
They're
they actually are crystals.
Kyber crystals were also used for the Death Star. That's what they use. They had a mass
the big,
excavation. The Empire and their deadly reach across the galaxy.
So what, the laser is actually a lightsaber?
Well, it's like powered. They're able to harness energy from the kyber crystal and
from like a crystal reactor.
Yeah. So something like that. I don't know.
Well,
you saw the inside, but yeah.
I'm glad that you guys don't. That you already know I suck with my taste, so like I can send you guys stuff.
You don't have sucky taste
because I have like I was mentioning the passion stuff. I can show you something that I don't actually give a shit about. And like I sent you guys a music video of a lady who just happened to have half her boobs out, and she looked like the side of an airbrush, like 1970s wizard. No. I sent you that.
Did you have one of these made up conversations again, or like?
I'm gonna see them live. It's a band, okay? I sent you a video.
Have you been talking with an AI for the past 8 months?
You said it's good. You said it's good, so you lied to me.
Oh, it was like that one with like the 80s, like Dark Castle, and there's like a green screen.
It was like the airbrush van with the wizard and the dragon, but someone cast a spell on the van, and then the band came out of the side of the van. It was like an airbrush.
Sounds cool.
And I spent an entire night trying to find the band that I sent the next day because I fell asleep trying to find it.
I actually like that one.
And then because it reminded me of that one, kind of like a Renaissance, kind of let's all hook up at a Renaissance fair kind of song. You know, like whatever.
Okay.
But interesting.
Yeah, I had no real. It's one of those things where I lose interest so fast. I was like, shit, should I have even sent that to you guys? But you guys don't care. You guys are fine with it.
I didn't even click it.
Exactly. So that's the other thing. For me, it's also a timing thing. Like you guys mentioned Stalker, that movie.
Yes.
And other things that, a lot of times people will just be like, hey, can we, like, I love this thing. I'm sharing it with you. But if it's just bad timing or if someone's almost too pushy, I'll actually recoil from it.
Well, when I see black and white and dubbed and also Russian, it's kind of schooly. All right, Mike,
whatever.
Yeah.
The guy in stripes. But yeah, 100%. And the most recent one was Hard to Be a God.
Right.
Which
I would love to see that.
We should all do a commentary.
We should watch it.
That actually would be great.
Make up our own characters.
Like that 3000 show. What's that? Mystery Space Theater?
I guess is that what they do? I've never seen that one. Mystery Space Theater 3000.
It's they're commenting on
Mystery Science
film
Theater 3000 or whatever it is.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But like we said, we would do that, but all in Trump accents.
Yeah.
I'm here trapped on a planet. They tell me it's very medieval, but we're gonna turn this place around. Keep the walls up.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
We just
Trump dub.
And you sent me that meme where he's standing on the edge of Mount Doom.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah, that's great.
Who knew that Lord of the Rings Trump crossover memes would have been the peak of comedy in 2024? But here we are.
Yeah, I love them. They always bring joy to my face. But I don't know. That's the neat thing about having all sorts of friends with all sorts of different interests and hobbies. You get to dip into their life and experience what they like, and you figure out what you don't like in the same process, right? Because
it's a great feeling, like turning somebody on to something that you love, that they really get, that it clicks with them and they love it. That's a great feeling for sure. But I think if you're just confident enough in your own tastes that you like what you like, then that's all that really matters.
Do you guys ever have times where you're like, there's just a civilian that, like, I went to get food at a food store, and I don't know if I say nice, you know what I'm talking about. Nice hiss. You know what I'm talking about exactly.
I got you.
Someone said that, at like a health food, like I was at like a coffee store.
Somebody dropped a Steve.
Yeah, I just happened to. There's nothing like a did we just become best friends with that moment where someone does let slip something that they like, but they're not sure if anyone in the world knows.
Right.
And that was one. There was
like, what do you mean? Oh, like when they reacted to someone else?
Like the guy said a word in a way that reminded me of a very specific YouTube account where a guy eats old beef from World War I.
Yeah, the guy who eats rations or whatever.
Yeah.
Rations. Yeah.
And we went on a whole thing.
MRE info.
And that happens that's happened a few times in my life. Like one guy his name was Ippo, and I was like, oh, there's an anime from like 81 that had that name in it. It's about a boxer, and he was like, I watch that every day, and then we became like friends, like until he started wanting me to be one finger in his fist for the future. So it got weird. But we were friends until I found out he was a crazy person. But
what was his fist actually?
He was actually, to tie back to what we talked about earlier, he was the one that I reached out to after not talking for a year and a half. And he said, like, if you're not serious about this,
still into
don't
fisting,
call me back. Yeah. I wasn't. He almost died one time.
This fist isn't gonna.
Oh
interesting.
He can't have a weak digit in his.
Super into like Napoleon and any conqueror. There was something weird going on. Yeah, like he loved that guy that had sex with everyone. Mongolia.
Genghis Khan.
Yeah, he loved.
I think I'm related. My background for the European region,
yeah, that's true. That
right.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Right. Not the ones closer to the Greeks, but the ones more like Slavia. Right.
Yeah,
so like my great times like 12, 13, maybe 14
was
Genghis
Khan's cousin.
Yeah.
You're not the actual Khan or the actual Genghis Khan. A lesser known Khan.
Yeah. And we all know, like, it's not my fault, but like Genghis Khan had a tiny penis, so I just feel like it's hereditary and I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
so.
queue up a 3-hour video on
like actually it should be
on
in a
the
museum,
spread of Genghis Khan's genetics every time you get in bed with you're like, listen, just before we get any further, we have to watch this.
I'm gonna show you like a short YouTube video, but it's not that short. You know, like it's a good length.
Short,
depends on your.
It's like an average YouTube.
It's like
length.
an average.
Yeah,
it's like 30 seconds. Yeah, like I said, average.
I have no heritage. My uncle did say that you
escaped on a boat.
The tax break. You know about that? I told you guys about Cloud Walker, right?
Are you allowed to say this on camera?
You told us about. Are you kidding me?
Tax break.
Can't get enough Cloud Walker.
Irish redhead with a ponytail. Tax break. I'm part Native American. Sure you are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say the
fast forward to
description
living in our
the
basement.
Town. Okay.
Because he didn't pay taxes for like 30 years, and the government was like, "Can you prove it easily? You could prove it because I guess you don't have to pay taxes."
And then he couldn't prove it, and then he tax evaded for 30 years. That's interesting. Wesley Snipes tried that once.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's how they got him? Is that what the thing?
He was in jail for a while. He thought he was above the law.
Proud tradition. Wesley Snipes, Cloud Walker, Al Capone.
Would I like going to a Comic-Con? Because in my head, I would waste so much money.
If you have never been, I think once or twice. And when you're younger, it's more like you're taking everything in for the first time. Lots of booths, right? You get your novelty items like your etched glass. There was a couple of mugs I wanted to get, but if you really wanted it, you could probably get it. You don't have to wait for a Comic-Con to roll through, but it's little niche things. If you're a collector, like I have my full-size TIE Fighter that's in my room.
Full size?
Like like
in your room?
Yeah, I sleep in it.
You sleep in a hangar.
My bed's a TIE Fighter. Where's yours? Like
I sleep in an AT-AT with my wife.
That is a hard sell with the penis and the bed. That's a tough one.
I know. No, this is a singles only profile on me right now. But yeah, no, there were certain things you find different vendors.
I want to buy like a weapon.
Yeah, you can. You can
Real
buy.
bad.
We interviewed a guy who made custom lightsabers.
Can he do rainbow ones?
Yeah, actually, because
let's go.
But Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different. There's knives, of course. You know,
Oh,
they
yeah.
had like we interviewed a guy who did the costumes for Kiss for 30 years.
Oh shit!
rad.
That's
yeah, and I went
hilarious.
up to his booth and I thought it was like some weird bondage, like dark fantasy.
It is.
booth,
Right?
right?
It is.
Right? And then we like, oh, it's Kiss. Okay, cool, Kiss. We interviewed. He's like, actually, I actually made costumes with the band. And we're like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
you walk up, you're like, oh, it's like some weird bondage thing, and he's like, actually, I made costumes for Kiss. And you're like, oh.
You go away. Yeah. The light drains from your eyes.
Yeah, then you had a comic book alley, like artist alley.
Yeah.
You had all the way from like people who were just starting out having their own comics to all the way you had the original artist for Ren and Stimpy there. So
Oh, that dude's weird. Yeah.
yeah.
Were there any groups that like no one went to their booth? Because like you know
the
that
smaller
happens.
ones, the smaller
The
ones.
beef jerky.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw a lot of people eating dried meat there. But yeah, there's parts where people you have to pay. I think you pay a fee to get a booth in there, and yeah. I don't really know how that goes. But we usually interview the local vendors too.
Good.
And we just see what they have to offer. Some really cool ones where there was like solo paperback like D&D style games, but if you wanted to play by yourself or like self-journaling, cool little niche things, tabletop. But yeah, you hear everyone's kind of like their story on how they did it, so it's you never know what you're gonna find. But yeah, a few times is pretty good. Doing it 12 years in a row, I don't know if it carries the same magic.
Right. Right.
Like I've
What
had
would?
some really really good experiences throughout it, but yeah, it just comes a time where you're figuring out what you want to do in your life, and it's like it is one weekend of the entire year. Sure, there's like a horror fest
Yo. Can I go?
in October that I might go, but now that I have this position where I am now, it's a little tough because it's all in the same. So
Oh, really? Same time
yeah,
frame?
no, it's cool. I hope some people watch it. There are people who say hello. We have regular guests who like crash our live production. A guy who just does Swedish Chef the entire time. For like the first 3 years, I thought there was something up with him. Like he was stuck in character for a certain
And you're
reason.
convinced there isn't?
And then he like talked to us in English like 4 years later. I'm like, oh, okay.
He's just doing the Swedish stuff, and then he breaks character. He's like, all right, guys, thanks very much.
I wish, but yeah, I don't know. It's just he would. Some people just figure they could just walk on to a live set and just do their skit and leave.
Some people see a camera, and they
Yeah.
can't resist. I mean,
There's like I remember our first interview. Some guy just walked right in front of us, like big white light and everything. Is just it was cool. They had a cool Lego one. They had a massive Lego booth. It was, but yeah, no,
Well, that's money.
Lego's fun, yeah.
there's it's celebrities from Days of Futures Past kind of thing. You know, like you have your big top.
Hugh
tier
Jackman
ones.
was there? See, I know enough about.
That's
I know
it's
enough
in
about it
it.
to do
It's
that.
in the realm. It's in the realm. But yeah, you have different tier of actors, and we also interviewed William Fichtner. William Fichtner is in such movies as Black Hawk Down, The Dark Knight, a bunch of movies with Michael Bay. He was very, very powerful presence. He's got a very. You remember at the beginning of Dark Knight with the bank manager with the sawed-off shotgun? He's all pissed off. That guy.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I'll have to watch that again.
And
just
we
to-
thought his name was William Fichtner. So then when we asked him how to properly pronounce his name before the interview, he said Fichtner, and I'm like, oh man, I'm
Yeah,
not
you're still gonna F it up. Yeah.
That's gonna go to revert to save,
Yeah.
right?
You had so many jokes that depended on the old pronunciation. You're like, oh, shit.
Just crumpling the page up. And then he's like, okay, who's gonna start? My co-host is like, are you gonna start? I'm like, no, I'm gonna say the first way. And he goes, well, I'm not gonna start. And we kind of had an awkward pause, and then William like hit me in the back and like says someone's got to start here, and then he started, and then we like proceeded to like shake like while we were doing the interview. But some people like we tried to interview Edward James Olmos, I think that's his name, the guy from Battlestar Galactica, but also from Blade Runner. And I had Blade Runner questions, and he told us to F off. So actually, no, that's a lie. He didn't tell us to F off. He politely declined. Which
he
is,
fucking Billy Bob Thorntoned you on.
yeah, he didn't want to be embarrassed to see local TV. Interviewing him and whatnot. So we were going to interview the female lady cop from Corner Gas.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, but
We're talking. I'll go to Corner Gas Con.
I know. And we had interviewed her. The station had interviewed her like a couple weeks prior. So don't want to double up on celebs.
Oh yeah, you can't.
Yeah, but
You
it's
can't
crazy. You should have
overexpose
seen. Yeah,
Karen from Corner Gas.
that was an experience. So, but if you've never gone to a Comic-Con, go check it out. I've been to Toronto one.
Go to
That's an
your
absolute
local
zoo.
convention center.
M. Night Shyamalan shot a movie at the Toronto Expo Center. It's about a white
Yeah,
guy.
the,
it's a white guy who everyone's looking for a murderer. And then
Yeah. I see
the
the
dad's
trailer.
like, "Go see your concert, honey. I'm gonna be your chaperone." And then they're like, "Yo, we're actually closing down this entire arena because like we know the murderer, this like massive serial killer murderer.
Yeah,
we know he's gonna be here tonight, but don't tell anyone." The guy's like, "What's his name? Josh." Not Josh Brolin, but
No,
Josh Hartnett.
That's Josh Hartnett. Yeah.
yeah, and he's kind of like, "Yeah, man," and he's like, "I'm actually the murderer guy."
Whoa.
Yeah, it's all in the trailer.
Is there a twist in it?
There is a
Yeah. Well, yeah.
so like he's just gonna be like this like generic white dad who's actually like this prolific like serial killer now trying to sneak out of the arena without everyone
Out of
knowing.
Rogers Center too, right? I saw in the trailer.
Is it
that,
Rogers? I think it almost looks like
Skydome.
So maybe it's a little bit of both. Cause
I think
feel
it's shot entirely in Toronto.
Yeah. I think of the between the Expo Center, Rogers.
When was this made? Is this
Under,
like
the,
old?
under the
soon.
Gardner there. No, it's not even out yet. I don't think.
Also
okay.
quickly.
Although
just
speaking of old, I did see M. Night Shyamalan's movie Old.
yeah,
It's funny.
is it
The
Yeah.
beach makes you grow old.
Yeah,
Did you know?
I saw bits of it and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, it speeds up time.
No, it rocks. It's pretty funny.
Speed up
Is it
through
good?
the whole movie.
Okay.
It's
Get to the
okay.
end. Just I don't know. It's M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. I did want one more shout out to another movie we actually talked about on the live show of Comic-Con. Is there's a movie called by A24 called In a Violent Nature.
Okay.
And it follows a classic story of young kids going to lake with camp.
Okay.
And going to party and have a college or high school kid weekend.
And everything works out and it's
And
fine.
yes, and that's it. Cool. That's it. So I just want
Slice of
Nothing
life.
makes you grow
Yeah.
old. Nothing speeds up time. Nothing.
It's just a great
nothing
wholesome
murders.
weekend. Everyone, there's some romance in there. There's some love. People get married, live happily ever after.
That's lovely.
Until an entity from the lake, an undead, like evil,
Fish.
like a Jason Voorhees.
His name's
type.
not Jason. It's Justin.
Justin.
Mason.
It's a different guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed. So there's like a Jason figure that comes up from the ground, but the camera is now following him from behind the entire time. So it's all in his perspective the entire time.
It's
So
a first person
the whole-
slasher.
I don't know if it's not first person, more like third
Third
person,
person,
Over the
right?
shoulder
So
kinda,
like
yeah.
or directly behind it, and he's walking slowly.
So you only see like this
Kinda.
area.
Well, like you
Just
see
his
it.
head is most of the
It's
screen.
also like framed in
Yeah,
different ways
yeah.
too, but it's like they're all just kind of partying, and he's like walking slowly, getting closer. They obviously don't notice him, and then some girl turns, and then she screams, and then
Doesn't run away at all.
That's
People
too
are getting
realistic.
drowned
That's,
and
I'm
stabbed
getting
and cut up
flashbacks
in
of
the
my
forest,
personal
so-
life. So
Yeah.
it looks cool. It looks.
oh, it's not
like,
out yet.
I think it's coming out this summer. I think.
Okay.
Mad Max came out and then went. I don't know. George Miller, thanks for trying to make another Mad Max. I heard it was okay,
It was. I did see it.
but then there's
I
also
liked
video
it.
games, but we don't want to alienate you.
Yeah, like we could
We
can
could-
talk a
I
lot
know,
about like
I know.
it's not alienating. I kind of I'm fascinated by the culture more than the media when it comes to nerd stuff. And like I said, I mean we've made Star Wars and Lord of the Rings references. We've made all sorts of movie and some video game references. Like I'm into it to an extent. But yeah,
I think
no,
video games would benefit your life greatly, and I think your wife would agree.
I I've played video games with her. I think maybe on 2 occasions in the 7-8 years we've been together. Almost 8.
And has she beat you?
No, we
Co-op games?
one night she couldn't sleep, and I was playing NHL, and
Of course.
she came out and I, mostly as a joke, I was like, "You want to play?" And she's like, "Okay."
Wow.
And,
just in the stupor. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we were both on the same team. I was like, "Okay, we're not gonna go against each other. We'll go on the same
Yeah.
team."
Yeah. Yeah.
He's losing his mind. He's like, that's an offside.
No, we were-
What are you doing?
We were Pittsburgh because she
Okay.
likes Sidney Crosby,
Of course.
Yeah,
Hey.
she scored on her first shot on goal, and was useless the rest of the game. So she should have
That's
just quit there. But
Was she
it was
useless
funny.
though?
No,
She got the goal.
Yeah, I set her up and she
Oh,
one
put it
timed
home.
it, but
Okay, I was gonna say beginner's luck because that does happen.
it was.
Yeah, because I played FIFA once at a party. I just smushed my head against the controller and I scored. And then the guy pulled up his britches and was like, "Oh, so you play, huh?" And he just,
Oh, gotcha.
I poured my drink. And
You
left.
play footy, do ya?
I was like, "Fuck you!" And I poured my soda pop on him. And no, he sat down aggressively on a very fluffy seat.
He
and
put
then
his hat
ass
backwards?
crack got my drink in it.
He put his hat. He turned it around. Oh.
His ass got in my
direction
drink,
is-
and he got very.
This wouldn't be the
mad.
fist guy, would it?
No. Yeah, this is a foot guy, but he was not a good sport about it, and I also was a little bit. I was high as hell, and so I was like
You were-
not
you were
ready
being
for.
antagonist?
I was like,
You were antagonizing him?
"Oh," and I just kind of faded into the.
Oh, and then he beat you. And he was like, yeah, that's all 25 years. Yeah.
Well, I did that at work too. I don't know if you guys were there during the pandemic when someone beat me in, I think it was Tekken. And
Oh, that was before.
it
before
was
my times.
there was a
You
someone-
did go on a long streak though.
there was a lady that was just like having fun, and then
And then it wasn't.
I like, I cracked my knuckles and went full
as you should.
idiot, and then
You went full
Fucking
neck
combos
beard.
all over
Yeah.
the place. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, okay, I'll pick
Game
my
over.
guy.
Yeah.
Like I had a main, if you know what a main
Yeah,
means
yeah.
the guy that you
Yeah.
actually play as, and I hated
You
myself
feel proud.
immediately.
Yeah.
No, honestly,
I had
I'm-
that once.
I'm down to make this just a nerd podcast talking about that stuff. I like I said, I think it's culturally interesting and like I think it when it comes to video games especially, but movies and stuff too, but just video games especially
I
because
think
it's
you got good
it's-
points to make.
it's not because it's a newer medium too, and video game criticism and like analysis is a bit of a newer thing, and we know with stuff like Gamergate and everything, it's brought up a whole lot of feelings from certain gamers and stuff, and I think that stuff's interesting. I think if you want to think of your games and stuff as like high art and stuff, then it should be then it's open to that sort of criticism that other art is exposed to. So I think that part of it's interesting. I'm down to always learn more.
Did you get a new tattoo?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so it wasn't just me that I thought maybe he had it for all time.
I was like,
and
did someone just really good, like, has a really good pen?
I think
Like,
it's
were
rad.
you
I think it's
doodling at
rad.
work or holy?
I'm also really pale right now.
Okay, well, we'll talk
so it
about
really
that tattoo
shows up,
later.
but,
Unless you want to share
No,
info.
we'll talk about it later.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
one of
I
those
need
like
something
secret
else
ones.
here and then-
That's cool. You're gonna.
I got another one coming,
Yeah. I can
Anyway.
never choose tattoos, but I'm sorry. I just roundhouse kicked your point. You were trying.
No, that's it. I mean, I think I think there's a lot of interesting ground to cover.
Well, video games is one of the most biggest enterprises in entertainment right now.
for sure.
Like makes most money.
Yep.
My voice keeps cracking, and I'm pissed.
Maybe it's
It's got to be this beer.
maybe-
Maybe it's time we take a break.
maybe let's call it for now.
Yeah. Let's. I think this is a great catch up and
you.
And relish and mustard.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate your faces being here, and I want to thank you for not forgetting about me, making sure this ocean does not get larger
Wow.
in between us. So
Let's keep our penis ships
Yeah.
afloat.
Yes. Thank you.
okay. Goodbye.
Bye. Fade.